Welcome to Module 4, Identify Goals for Your Garden. Congratulations on assigning team roles that will keep people engaged. As your next step, this video will help you understand the importance of setting goals, common goals of school gardens, and ways you might measure success. Successful school gardens begin with the end in mind. Having agreement on why you want the school garden in the first place will help you make all future decisions easier.
School gardens are used in a variety of ways. You can see lots of different schools using them in different manners.
When we first started looking at beginning the gardens, we looked at what types of gardens would benefit around our school.
Is the goal of the garden to just be a garden that the school is going to use for curriculum? Is the goal to donate 100 pounds of produce this summer? Is the goal to donate 1,500 pounds of produce in a summer?
Why do we even have this garden here? And having those discussions early on and making sure that that plan is really solid and it's documented so that others can share. If everyone knows where you're going, it makes it easier to make decisions.
It is important to keep everyone on track, and then if there is turnover of committee members of the garden or something like that, then people know what we're working towards and what our plan is.
The less fun part of it is to sit down and put all those things together, but they're really important. And I think that visioning section is really where the strength of the garden is built.
Once your team has shared a vision, purpose, or goal for your school garden, any surprises or changes that happen along the way will be much easier to deal with effectively. Future decisions will be easier to make because you're all on the same page. So, if you need to agree on goals, what common goals do schools have for starting a garden? To find the answer, we interviewed dozens of school garden coordinators, volunteers, and organizations that support school gardens. 5 different goals were commonly mentioned over and over.
We started out with just a question as teachers: how could we get students out of the classroom and out into an environment outside? We kind of looked at, with our curriculum, what kinds of objectives we could meet by having outdoor classrooms. We have made sure that we have communicated with teachers so that they have a buy-in with it as well and use it with their class.
You can use anything across the curriculum: language arts, writing, music, PE, math, right here.
Inviting children to have a physical participation, but an academic participation too.
There are all kinds of skills that you can teach academically, but through a way that engages the kids much more fiercely, really.
You can read all of you want or learn everything you want about biology or how plants are supposed to grow, but until you actually experience how to do it, you probably won't have any idea or have a really hard time getting them to go.
Another way that school gardens are used is for cooking classes and after-school programs. And then there are schools too that are using the produce from the garden into the cafeteria to kind of as a supplement to what's already served.
Our last principal decided to get into a demo kitchen that was funded by a business here, and it's just been such a great asset to our school.
We've made food with kids, and when they cooked, when they take something out of the garden and they make a salad out of it, they'll eat. They'll eat that salad and they'll go home and tell their parents. When kids learn things, they can make an effect on their families, and then that effect goes out into the community.
I think we have a lot of work to do teaching kids about what's nutritious and healthy in their lives and giving them capacity to know, oh, this isn't so hard to do, I can do this.
The students get to have the excitement of picking the fruit or the tomato, the pepper, whatever it may be, and get to go home and say, I grew this and I know how to do something with it, rather than looking at a piece of lettuce and going, can I eat it? I don't know, because I'm not sure of the plant.
The purpose of the school garden is to teach kids where their food comes from, and that it's not really hard to plant a garden at your own home and grow your own healthy food, just to kind of watch the process from seeds to on your table.
The overarching goals of the garden produce is to get it out into the community. We preferably would want to get it out through our families. Our volunteers always get to go home with something. After that, we donate to CFAM for their families that come in for dinner.
The planting that we've done, we've looked into donating it to some of the shelters.
Some schools have even used the produce offerings from their garden as a way to kind of continually get support and resources for the garden. So even some schools that have been involved with Food Corps have had sort of like a market where contributions made for the produce would be inputted directly back into the garden.
Kids are kind of natural entrepreneurs. You can tell that from when they always want to set up lemonade stands or get paid for washing the dishes. And framing the garden in that way would be a really cool learning experience for kids.
The purpose of our Hillis garden is to create a better community, to keep our families involved and have a sense of pride of their school.
Some of them are used as sort of like a community garden, so people who are coming into the garden to help are also getting kind of a cut of the produce.
It's a connection for them, for their children, for them to feel welcome to come to school and know they're part of what's going on here.
It's really important for all schools to be just measuring some basic things about their garden. Because one, it's important to know year over year, how has our garden produced? How are we doing? What went really well? What didn't go well? And that's just helpful for planning for next year. But we also find, especially for those that are trying to look for outside funding, outside funders want to know how your garden's doing and if you're keeping track.
I think it's really easy to kind of get caught up in all of the tasks that a garden has, that it's hard to keep track of what's happening in the garden and the success that you're finding. But it is really important. It's important so that other people can see the impact, other teachers, principals, educators, and then also funders to see the impact that you're having with the garden so that they see it as a valuable resource.
School gardens often exist to act as an outdoor classroom, to improve health and wellness, to teach cooking skills, to alleviate hunger, to sell the produce, or to engage parents and community members. If you identify with the one or two primary goal of your garden, how can you measure success? A Garden for Every School has tools to help you reach agreement on the goals for your school garden. This video has its own planning guide that takes your team through a process of discussion, voting, and asking follow-up questions about measurement and help you might need. Let's get started today. Download planning guide number 4 for this video. As a team, fill out each section, prioritize your garden goals, and plan for how you will measure success in each of those areas.